Your environment suit should serve you well when the flood begins to alter the atmosphere. You are a good planner.
What's up guys, and welcome to Victor Gaming. Today we will take a look at one of the most iconic video games of all time. As you probably saw by the thumbnail and title already, today I will be reviewing Halo Combat Evolved. The game starts off with an intro cutscene showing you the Halo ring. You are then shown the Pillar of Autumn, the ship you are on. They really did a good job at getting your attention, reminding me a little bit of Star Trek in a way. Don't know about you, but I love this kind of sci-fi adventure. Halo is a first-person shooter video game developed by Bungie and published by Microsoft Game Studios. It was released as a launch title for Microsoft's Xbox video game console on November 15, 2001. Microsoft released versions of the game for Windows and Mac in 2003. Halo is set in the 26th century, with the player assuming the role of the Master Chief, a cybernetically enhanced super soldier. Players battle various aliens as they attempt to uncover the secrets of the eponymous Halo, a ring-shaped artificial world. The Chief is accompanied by Cortana, an artificial intelligence.
Moment, sir. Accessing the Covenant BattleNet. According to the data in their networks, the ring has some kind of deep religious significance. If I'm analyzing this correctly, they believe that Halo is some kind of weapon, one with vast, unimaginable power.
Now I know what you're thinking. Isn't Cortana also the name of the virtual assistant on Windows 10? The answer is yes. Halo is published by Microsoft, and the same name was given by Microsoft to their virtual assistant on Windows. To me it's the perfect name, and it always reminds me of this awesome game. Here's some interesting information about Cortana. Cortana is voiced by Jennifer Lee Taylor, who also voices characters in various video games. She voiced Zoe in Left 4 Dead, Princess Peach, Toad and Toadette in various Mario games. She also voiced some characters in Dota 2, Aliens vs Predators 2, Fear 2, Backyard Baseball, Guild Wars 2 and Forza Horizon 4, just to name some of the amazing voice acting work she has done over the years.
Left out that little detail, did he?
We have followed outbreak containment procedure to the letter. You were with me each step of the way as we managed this crisis.
Chief, I'm picking up movement.
Why would you hesitate to do what you've already done?
We need to go, right now.
Last time you asked me, if it were my choice, would I do it? Having had considerable time to ponder your query, my answer has not changed. There is no choice. We must activate the ring.
Get us out of here.
Bungie began development of what would eventually become Halo back in 1997. Initially the game was a real-time strategy that morphed into a third-person shooter before becoming a first-person shooter. During development, Microsoft acquired Bungie and turned the game into a launch title for its new video game console, the Xbox.
Those Marines could use some help, Chief. Do what you do best.
Halo was a critical and commercial success, and it has been praised as one of the greatest video games of all time. The game's popularity led to labels such as Halo Clone and Halo Killer, applied to games either similar to or anticipated to be better than it. Its sequel, Halo 2, was released for the original Xbox in 2004, and the game spawned a multi-billion-dollar multimedia franchise that incorporates games, books, toys and films. The game inspired and was used in the fan-created Red vs Blue video series, which is credited as one of the first major successes of machinima. Machinima is a technique of using real-time 3D engines, often from video games, to create animated films. More than 5 million copies had been sold worldwide by November 2005. A high-definition remake, Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, was released for Xbox 360 on the 10th anniversary of the original game's launch. Anniversary was re-released for Xbox One as part of Halo the Master Chief Collection in 2014 and was released on Windows PCs in March of 2020. Now let's look at some gameplay. Halo Combat Evolved is a shooter game in which players experience gameplay in a 3D environment almost entirely from a first-person view. The game features vehicles ranging from armored 4x4s and tanks to alien hovercraft and aircraft, many of which can be controlled by the player. The game switches to a third-person perspective during vehicle use for pilots and mounted gun operators. The game's heads-up display includes a motion tracker which registers moving allies, moving or firing enemies and vehicles within a certain radius of the player. The player character is equipped with an energy shield that nullifies damage from weapons fire and forceful impacts. The shield's charge appears as a blue bar in the corner of the game's heads-up display, and it automatically recharges if no damage is sustained for a brief period. When the shield is fully depleted, the player becomes highly vulnerable, and further damage reduces hit points of a secondary health meter. When this health meter reaches 0, the character dies and the game reloads from a safe checkpoint. Health can be replenished through the collection of health packs scattered around the game's levels. Halo's arsenal consists of weapons straight out of science fiction. The game has been praised for giving each weapon a unique purpose, thus making each useful in different scenarios. For example, plasma weapons need time to cool if fired too rapidly, but cannot be reloaded and must be discarded upon depletion of their batteries, whereas conventional firearms cannot overheat but require reloading and ammunition. In contrast to large weapon inventories of contemporary FPS games, Halo players can carry only 2 weapons at once, calling for strategy when managing firearms. Like the game's other weapons, there are 2 different types of grenades. The fragmentation grenade bounces and detonates quickly, whereas the plasma grenade adheres to targets before exploding. The game's main enemy force is the Covenant, a group of alien species allied by belief in common religion. Their forces include elites, fierce warriors protected by recharging energy shields similar to the player's own, grunts, which are short, cowardly creatures who are usually led by elites in battle and often flee in terror instead of fighting in the absence of the leading elite, jackals, originally space pirates who wear highly durable energy shield in one arm and a form of handgun on the other. The hunters, large powerful creatures composed of small worm-like colonies with thick armored plates that cover the majority of their bodies and a large assault cannon that fires explosive rounds of green plasma. A secondary enemy is the Flood, a parasitic alien life that appears in several variants. Other enemies include Sentinels, aerial robots designed by an extinct race called the Forerunners to protect their structures and prevent flood outbreaks. Sentinels are able to hover around in enclosed spaces and produce an energy shield when under attack. They lack durability, but use powerful laser beam weapons and are immune to infection by the Flood. The artificial intelligence in Halo has been favorably received. The player is often aided by United Nations Space Command UNSC Marines who offer ground support such as manning gun turrets or riding shotgun while the player is driving a vehicle. Halo Combat Evolved takes place in a 26th century science fiction setting. Faster-than-light travel, called slipspace, allows the human race to colonize planets other than Earth. The planet Reach serves as an interstellar hub of scientific and military activity. The United Nations Space Command, UNSC, develops a secret program to create augmented super soldiers known as Spartans. More than 12 years before the beginning of the game, a technologically advanced collective of alien races called the Covenant begins a holy war against humanity, declaring them an insult to their gods. Humanity's military experience a series of crushing defeats. Although the Spartans are effective against the Covenant, they are too few in number to turn the tide. In 2552, the Covenant forces attack Reach and destroy the colony. The starship Pillar of Autumn escapes the planet with the Spartan Master Chief Petty Officer John 117 on board. The ship initiates a jump to slipspace, hoping to lead the enemy away from Earth. Now let's look at the plot. The game begins as Pillar of Autumn exits the slipspace and its crew discovers a large ring world structure of unknown origin. The Covenant pursues the Autumn and attacks. With the ship heavily damaged, the Autumn's captain, Jacob Keyes, entrusts the ship's artificial intelligence AI known as Cortana to Master Chief in order to prevent the Covenant from discovering the location of Earth. Keyes orders the crew to abandon ship and pilots the Autumn to crash landing on the ringworld.
Good luck, Master Chief.
Your architecture isn't much different from the Autumn's.
Don't get any funny ideas.
On the ring's surface, Master Chief and Cortana rescue other survivors and help organize a counter-offensive. Learning that Keyes has been captured by the Covenant, Master Chief and a small contingent of soldiers rescue him from the Covenant cruiser Truth and Reconciliation. Keyes reveals that the Covenant call the ringworld Halo, and that they believe it to be a weapon. Intent on stopping the Covenant from using Halo, Keyes searches for a potential weapons cache, while Master Chief and Cortana mount an assault on the ringworld's control room. Cortana enters Halo's computer systems. What she learns has her immediately send Master Chief to find and stop Master Keyes from continuing his search.
You alright?
Never been better.
Searching for the captain, Master Chief encounters a new enemy, the parasitic Flood. The release of the Flood prompts Halo's caretaker, the AI-343 Guilty Spark, to enlist Master Chief's help in activating Halo's defenses.
Of Installation 04, I am 343 Guilty Spark. Someone has released the Flood. My function is to prevent it from leaving this installation, but I require your assistance. Come, this way.
After Master Chief retrieves the ring's activation index, 343 Guilty Spark transports him back to Halo's control room. Cortana intervenes before Master Chief can activate the ring. She has discovered the purpose of the installation is to destroy all sentient life in the galaxy, starving the Flood of potential hosts. When Cortana refuses to surrender Halo's activation index, 343 Guilty Spark attacks her and Master Chief. To stop Halo's activation, Master Chief and Cortana decide to destroy the installation. Needing Keyes' command codes to destroy the Autumn and Halo with it, Master Chief returns to Truth and Reconciliation only to find that Keyes has been assimilated by the Flood. Retrieving the codes from the captain's remains, Master Chief returns to the Autumn, but 343 Guilty Sparks halts the self-destruct sequence. Master Chief and Cortana manually destabilize the ship's reactors as an alternative, narrowly escaping the detonation in one of the Autumn's fighters, while the majority of the remaining Covenant, UNSC forces and the infected Flood are destroyed along with the Halo installation. Cortana justifies their sacrifice and believes their work to be finished, but the Master Chief states that they are only getting started.
Did anyone else make it?
Scanning. Just dust and echoes. We're all that's left.
We did what we had to do. For Earth. An entire Covenant armada obliterated, and the Flood. We had no choice.
Halo. It's finished.
No. I think we're just getting started.
Well, that's it for this video. I really enjoyed playing this game. If you like this video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Have a good one. Cheers!